Alright then guys, welcome back to another video from Reef Drama. Today we're going to go through what it took to put together the QT tank, as well as doing all the copper kind of treatment as well for the fish that obviously had to come out of the main tank due to marine velvet most likely, but we're still not 100% sure what that was that killed off most of my fish, unfortunately. However, as I say, they went into the QT tank. Now, I have already done a video of kind of like a QT tank sort of setup, so you can always go back and have a little look at that. That will maybe go into it a little bit more detail, but we'll go through it as well quickly on this video with regards to, you know, the equipment that I've got, what tank we're using, and how we also went about doing the copper treatment. So what did I have to go out and buy for that? Certainly what's my recommendations for you to go out and buy for having to do copper treatment if you have to do that, obviously as part of your quarantine routine, or if you have some sort of outbreak and you need to get all your fish in a tank and then do a copper treatment. So we'll have a look at all of that. We'll also have a look at the calendar that I set up. So that gave me everything that I need to know with every 3 days of doing a water change and checking and testing the copper, writing it down, what it was, you know, is it still above therapeutic level, which my aim was 2.00 ppm of the copper power, which is the treatment chemical that I used. So long as it was always above 2.0 ppm, then that was fine. That's what I was aiming for. So I'll go through the calendar with you, show you that. And also there was a website that I used, which I'll put in the link below or the description below, which was my copper power calculator. So I'll put all of that in the description below. There will be things that you'll see that I am an Amazon affiliate to. So again, everything will be listed below. If you do purchase anything, then as I say, I am an affiliate, so I will take a small commission from any purchases that you make. So thank you very much for that. It doesn't cost you anything. So what we'll do is we'll get straight on with it. We'll probably have a quick look at the fish to see how they're getting on, and then we'll get straight into the rest of the video. Alright then guys, so here we go, just a quick check-up of how everybody is getting on. So we've got Piney in there, obviously all three of them, well the three that are left, are all doing well. We've got one of the yellow wrasses, and we've also got the orange shoulder tang. As you can see in there, there's still a lot of Piney's shells from where he's been eating his cockles. So yeah, so all doing well. They're all okay in there. Ammonia Alert still working well. Got a little level kind of thing round on the corner here, around the side. So as long as the water is within that level, I can see it, then I know that it's the right kind of salinity. And over here actually I've got my Milwaukee salinity checker, ready to have a little look at whatever tank I want to check the salinity of. But yeah, so there we go. So that's the little kind of update on how the fish are going. So with regards to the equipment then, as I've mentioned before, I've already done a video on setting up a quarantine tank. And since obviously rehoming the angelfish, this tank then kind of just went and sat in the garage. But I had all the equipment for it. So we've got the hang on the back, or in this case, hang on the side. We've got the hang on the back filter. Okay, and this particular one, it's actually got a UV light in there, so you can see the little blue light there, so that's a UV. We've also got a heater at the back. Now I like to use these heaters. I've got two in the main display. These are Fluval E series. I think this is only 100 watt in here. The ones in the tank are 300 watts. But as you can see, you've got a really nice display there of what the temperature is. I've also got, if we just have a little look in the cupboard below, down here somewhere, yeah, I've got also a spare thermometer that I can just throw in at any time, just to kind of double check really that figure there. We've also got another filter at the back here. Now that was really just to give me some more beneficial bacteria, all of that matrix that's in there. Not only is that full of matrix that was in the main tank that was seeded for quite a long time, this is also full of matrix as well. So that sort of set the tank off really nicely to begin with, and you know, I put the water from the main display into here, obviously throughout doing a water change. I've also got a container in here of the sand. That's basically just because of the wrasse. If you have wrasse that you're quarantining, then you will potentially need to put a container of sand in there for the wrasse to bury in and sleep in at night. And then of course we've also got a couple of random sized plastic sort of 90s there, and this sort of straight through one there, and there's like a 45 on that one. So the big ones are mainly obviously for piney, and then the smaller ones can be for the other fish that go in here. Already mentioned, but we got the Ammonia Alert as well, so that's very important to have. I've got my food there on the side, and also just every now and again I just whack in one of those strips just as a quick checker. Really, it's nothing really major. The main thing is obviously keeping an eye on the ammonia here, mainly because of piney being in this tank. This is 100 litres. I do a water change 25 litres, so 25%, and that's done every 3 days. So I've also got up here the flipper, because the light, just got a little AI Prime 16 HD up there, but it is obviously causing quite a bit of algae on the glass. So this is just in here, just so as I can you know, have a bit of a glass cleaning sort of session as and when I really need to. But, just chuck that back up there, keep the blade out the way of piney. So that's pretty much the setup. As I say, I do have a smaller tank in the garage that I can use the exact same equipment on, and that's really, you know, going to be for sort of smaller fish. As I say, this one is mostly just because of piney. Now hopefully you can see, but there's quite a bit of surface agitation, not only by that pump there, connected to obviously all of that media, well, piney in the way, and that's sort of got that slightly angled up so it hits the surface. But we've also got in here as well the air stone that's giving us quite a lot of oxygen as well. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of movement up there. And we've also got from this end, if I move the cover, we've also got that going in there as well for a little bit more surface agitation. Again, with the wrasse, or you know, most fish, I guess it's important to have a full cover lid on this. And as you can see, this one I've now cut all the way around here, all the way around there, so it's absolutely 100% solid on the top all the way across. Just got a little corner cut out here for wires, and over here as well for another wire in the air line. But before this, I didn't have this all the way. I think it sort of stopped about here, and I think that's how the yellow wrasse jumped out, unfortunately. But even so, the other one was still on. This one with the mesh, that's always on. Got the hole cut out here for the food, but you can see that there is quite a reasonable gap going down the end there. So I think that's pretty much where he jumped out at some point. So before the other one decides to do the same thing, let's get this closed back up again. There we go. So what we do now is we'll just have a little look at the copper equipment that I bought as well, obviously to put these fish through that copper process after whatever we had in this tank, whether that was a horrendous ick or marine velvet, you know, I really don't know. But that's the QT tank. that's all the equipment that's in there. That's pretty much all you need. Bare bottom, no sand, you know, a couple of different sized pipes, depending on the size of fish that you got. Obviously, you're going to want a heater. You're going to want to hang on the back filter, or even an internal filter like so. Make sure that you've got nice seeded, what's it, matrix, or you know, something that's come out of like your main display that can go into your quarantine tank and start that up. There's obviously the beneficial bacteria as well that you can add in, like Microbacter 7, so that would also help sort of, you know, kickstart a QT tank pretty much straight away for you to put your fish in. You know, also maybe potentially you got the air stone as well, and highly recommend the ammonia checker. Now, a lot of this equipment I do actually have linked in the description down below, which you can purchase through Amazon. I am an affiliate, so if you do purchase anything, then I will get a small sort of percentage from that at no extra cost to yourself. So if you do purchase anything, thank you very much. Right, let's have a little look at this copper stuff. Okay, well, one of the first things obviously that you need to get yourself is your copper. Now, I went for this one, which is Copper Power. It says it's the safest copper treatment available. There are other copper treatments out on the market, but this was the one that I specifically went for because I kind of told really that this is one of the easier ones to use. Now, I was obviously a bit worried, a bit nervous about putting the fish through copper in the first place. So another reason obviously for going for this one. It actually ended up fairly easy, I must say. So I wasn't really, you know, I didn't really need to kind of worry about anything in the beginning. But that's the Copper Power chemical. Now, the other really important thing that I would absolutely always advise anybody on getting is the Hanna checker for the copper. Because obviously you can't just be dosing copper and not know how much you're putting in. We got to put it in, well, in my case with the puffer, I had to put it in slowly, carefully, build it up to therapeutic level, and then obviously we have to maintain it at therapeutic level, and I did that for 30 days. So I bought the Hanna checker for copper, and I also obviously got some more reagents as well, because what came in this obviously wasn't going to be enough, so I got some more. So definitely 100% advise that, and again, you should find that down in the list below. I've also got some garlic guard as well from Seachem. This is just, you know, in case you've got any finicky eaters really, you can mix that into your food before you feed your fish, so it's always handy maybe to have some of that on hand. One of the other things as well that I've got is this Cuprosorb, which is what you put in when your copper treatment has come to an end, because this will remove copper. So that's that was in the QT tank, but that's now obviously taken out all the copper, so I just kept the packet really just to show you. As you can see, it's all open, but we've gone through therapeutic level and got rid of the copper and everything now in the QT tank, so that's good. I also got just a little kind of measuring cylinder, and also the little syringe here as well, and that was for all using the Copper Power liquid. I also kind of made a note of everything that I was doing as well, so we can see here on the 9th of August, this is when the fish went into the quarantine tank and the copper treatment started, and I got it up to 0.25, and to do that I put 4 mil in. This is all based on 100 litres, which I knew I had exactly in my tank. Because what I did was I painstakingly filled up, well, not those, that's only 5 litres, but I filled up 25 litre containers of water from the main display and tipped it into here, and I made sure that it got up to that little mark around the side that I showed you earlier, and that was exactly 100 litres, so I know 100% there's 100 litres in there, and it wasn't just a guess. Then the following day, I actually did a water change, and I put 2 mil into the water,
as it goes into the tank. So you basically siphon out the water from your quarantine tank. You then put your copper into the new salt water that's going into the quarantine tank, and then you tip it into the tank itself. So as you can see here, unfortunately the third day in, the Bengal cardinal died, but on Friday another 3 mil was added, another 3 mil, tested it, came out at 0.80 on the Hanna checker, did another 20% water change. Sunday 4 mil added in the morning and in the evening. Same on Monday, tested it, Hanna checker 1.60. So basically I was just gradually bringing it up, mainly because of the puffer, and getting it to the therapeutic level which I wanted, which was over 2.00. So I hit 2.12 on Wednesday the 16th, as you can see, therapeutic level, and from then onwards it was just a case of maintaining. So every single 3 days when I did a water change, I was testing the water. I was then using a calculator, which I'll put in the link down below, but it was fishhotel.com, which is FISHOTEL.com, and you can put in there what your therapeutic level is right now, or what the level is that you've got, how much litres of water is in the tank, and what you want it to be, and it will kind of calculate it all out, and it will tell me, you know, every time here when I've done a 20 litre water change, for instance, at 2.16, it needed 7 mil in there to maintain it. Next 3 days it was 2.10, so I did 8 mil, and then 3 days later 2.11, put in another 8, and you can see that every single time I did the test it was always over that 2.00 therapeutic level, all the way down here. I'm not going to go through all of these. On the 16th of, what was it, September, that was when I added the cuprazole. The 30 days therapeutic level was over, so that went in, and I did a water change as well, 25 litres or 6.6 gallons, and then continuing the theme, then 3 days doing water changes all the way through. Unfortunately on this particular day, what was it, October the 6th, Piney ate the cleaner wrasse. He's a naughty boy, that Piney, but I tell you what, cleaner wrasse was pissing him off quite a lot, and also used to do that in the main display, which is why the cleaner wrasse was actually in the sump for ages, to be fair, before everybody came out and went into this quarantine tank. Well, I say everybody, those that was left, of course. But that's pretty much what I was doing with regards to the dosing of the copper, and how it was being dosed. So I was literally just, you know, pouring some of this into here, and then I was using my syringe to suck out 6 or 7 mil, and then that would then go into my containers of fresh salt water before it went into the QT tank. I was actually using these ones, so I had 5 of these for 25 litres, and if I was doing like 8 mil, then, no, I was doing 20 litres, sorry, 20 litres when I was doing the copper. So if I was doing 8 mil, I'd actually put 2 mil into each of the 4 5-litre containers of salt water, and then that was being tipped into the tank. With regards to taking the water out, I'll open up the cupboard here. So I've got this 25 litre container, I marked on the side where 20 litres was, and then we just use the hose, which is down there, to then take that amount of water out. You've also got to remember that all of this equipment that you see here, every single piece of equipment that's all in there and everything, this will all be now just for a QT tank that's had copper in it. Even my Jebao SLW10 wave maker, which is in there, which I forgot to mention earlier, but that's in there on the side, look. You know, all of that, even down to the flipper. These can only now be used in this tank because it's been in there when I've had copper. So you cannot use any of this equipment or any of this equipment back in your main tank once you've finished with your QT tank. Always keep it 100% separate. Yeah, I've even marked on here that this is RO only, and this sits here, and this is just for this QT tank, nothing else. So let me just put all this away. So let's get rid of that container there. close that door. Yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so I was using this syringe then to put the copper into the fresh water, ready to go into the tank for the water change. And really, once you've used and looked at the website that I've linked down below for the copper power kind of calculator, it does make it very, very easy. So it's nothing really to be worried about. I was quite worried and quite concerned about using copper, but yeah, you really don't have to worry about it too much. Just take your time, bring it up nice and steady to therapeutic level, especially if you have something like a porcupine pufferfish that really can't, you know, handle copper very well, which is why, you know, I brought it up slowly. I guess if I didn't have Piney, what I could have done was I could have just whacked this tank up to therapeutic level, probably in one go, and put the fish in. But you know, I have to look after Piney, don't I? He's the main boy. He's the dude in the tank, and he's the one that I've got to look after. So that is the QT tank. Alright then guys, so that wasn't too bad. As I say, that was everything that I've got for the copper treatment and the quarantine tank. So I hope you found that information useful. As I say, I was pretty nervous about using copper on the fish. Obviously I had no choice, but I was still really nervous about using it. But to be fair, I really needn't have been. You know, so long as you're careful with it. My light's just gone out, battery's dead. As long as you're careful with it and you take your time and you've got the right sort of equipment, and as I say, that Hanna checker for copper, I really can't recommend that anything higher. You know, that is definitely what you need to use. But so long as you're doing everything right, keeping it above that therapeutic level, then you know you shouldn't go hopefully too wrong. And you know, it's not something really that you should be too worried about. As I say, I was, but then afterwards it was fine. Definitely obviously be doing it again, because from now on any new fish that go into the main tank will be going through a quarantine procedure. So all that leaves me to say is many thanks for watching the video. If you found it useful, as I say, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Just press the little subscribe button in the bottom corner of the screen there, and I'll thank you very much for doing that. It really obviously does help, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. So thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.
Easy go.